Hey everybody, welcome back to Kevin's One Stop Shop where no job's too big or too small. Fix everything from A to Z. And I'm out here with my '07 Keystone Laredo. I'm having to replace the follow leg landing gear. That is the leg that is opposite of the lead leg, which is the gear driven leg. This gear is connected by this 1-inch square tubing. There's a bolt that goes through here that turns a pin, that turns a gear, that turns a shaft that I'll show you about in a minute. And the symptoms that I was having that got me to where I am was that my motor seemed to be dragging, blow a fuse every once in a while, and it just kept getting slower and slower to raise and lower. Once that bolt that holds this part to that follow leg sheared off, I knew there had to be some kind of a real bad bind inside that leg internally. Like I said, I'll show you that in a few minutes so that you can kind of see how it works on the inside if you're interested. So mine was pretty simple to replace. There's basically a nut you have to remove. There's a nut here and there's a nut down here, and then you take this lag bolt out here and here. This thing just comes out. Now it clamps back, and just the clamp itself is not what keeps it from actually moving. The clamp keeps it in place. However, there's two notches that I'll show you on the old housing that actually go up against the frame that actually allow the camper to go up and down. So it's not just solely relying on that clamp to grip it. Let me show you the part number real quick that I bought. Like I said, this may or may not apply to your application, but anyway, this is a 14 for the follow leg, and the way I understand it, the 13 would be the lead leg. So what keeps that leg from just slipping through that clamp with all the weight of the camper? So let's look at that real quick. All right, I'm gonna try to turn this camera for you, so y'all bear with me. So here's the old leg right here, and that you can see here there's some lips, whatever you want to call it. Well, what keeps this thing from sliding in that clamp with the weight of the camper is when you take those bolts out, this here and this here will fit exactly between that clamp. So that way, when it's in there and this leg is pushing down, which is raising the camper up, this lip catches the frame. So the clamp part is not what's holding it as far as from slipping. That lip is actually grabbed onto the frame of the camper, as well as that. Now mine, I did have to grind the bracket that holds it just a little, because the distance between here and here must have been a tad bit different in my other one. So I did have to grind down that bracket just a little bit so the new one would slip in between the two brackets. But one thing that's nice too is once this is in there and these right here are up against the frame, and if this is not all the way up against the frame, the bolts will not actually go through there. So that lets you know that you have it far enough where it's supposed to be, because otherwise the clamp part's not going to hold it. So this one's destroyed, but so you have a gear in here that's connected to this pin. So that pin goes through here, which is connected to a gear, which then turns another gear that turns this. So this is held still from the inside housing of that leg. So this can't turn. So when you turn the gears that's basically hooked to this turns, and it'll drive the leg up and down. The problem I'm having is this rod cannot go through this nut because it's bound up. I tried holding this in a vise and breaking it loose, I galled it up. I mean, I've as hard as I can turn it, it's really galled it. So it's not freeing up. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. So that's the reason I wound up just getting another one. But that's a little bit of what the inside looks like, just in case you were curious. So really all that's involved with this is undoing the two nuts, take the lag bolts out, take the old leg out, put the new leg in, being careful that those notches or whatever you want to call them are lined up in the right spot on that frame, and then just rebolting it up. And as I was saying a few minutes ago, these bolts won't go in if this is not pushed all the way up against it. So that's another little bit of reassurance that you've got it right. But you can look under there to tell and see that it's also right. So once that's done, really, you're going to put your cross piece back, run the bolt back through it, and it's ready to go. The only other thing you want to make sure of is that the legs are the same distance down before you connect these to each one. So the way that I did that was, since the lead leg wasn't broke, I just measured from the bottom frame of my camper down to the bottom part of the of the landing leg, and then all I had to do, so I think it was like very close to 8 inches from the bottom of the frame. Let me show you real quick. So up under here, so like from the bottom of my frame, like right here down to here was about 8 inches. So then what I did was I come over to this replacement, the follow leg, and with this free and not bolted, you can actually turn this by hand. So then what I did was I turned that by hand until the distance from the frame here, the distance from the frame here coming down was the exact same to that lip right there. So then that tells me the part of the leg that goes up and down is the same distance down. So now I can hook up that piece of square tubing, and knowing that the both legs are the same distance. So when I retract them, they're the same height, and then when I let them back out, they're of course the same height. And then that foot and that other part, that's just held in by a pin. That's just adjustable. But you want to make sure that the part that actually is driven is exactly the same on both sides. It would still work, but one side may run out going in or coming out before the other one, and you don't want that. But anyway, I ain't gonna spend any more time, keep your time anymore. Hopefully that'll save you a little bit of headache and time. Let me know what I did good, what I did bad, what you like and don't like. Don't want to keep these videos any longer than I have to, so you can get to the job, get it done, and get back on the road. But give me some likes or dislikes, leave me some comments. I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Later.